So in your session today, I know that you were talking about how Forbes had to feed election commission data through a cleaner.
Right.
At what point did you realize you needed a cleaner for that data?
It was last summer when we were trying to start to use this data in our coverage of the richest people, and we thought that readers would really connect to this idea that these incredibly rich people are pouring a lot of money into elections. So we started to look at the data, and it was as soon as we saw the data that we knew we'd have to do something to clean it up. It's really kind of a mess. Was
it unstructured data? Is that?
No, it was structured. It's in these big flat text files, and you have to read it out. And the problem is that there are no unique identifiers for donors, the way that there are for political committees and candidates, where the FEC says, this is Nancy Pelosi, here's her ID number. They don't do anything like that for donors.
Oh, okay, I see. So the same tool that you developed, can that be applied to other data sets that you guys run across?
Sure, the same principle can be applied to other data sets.
Right.
The tool is really a rather manual approach, and so it's that's what we wanted, because we're using it in coverage of very sensitive people and very sensitive things related to these sensitive people. So we wanted to be as careful as possible, and so we came up with this sort of manual approach, semi-manual approach. And if you wanted to do something bigger on more people, you might take it a little bit more toward the automated end, but that would be easy to do.
So it was more of a process than a specific tool, is that correct?
Well, it's both, yeah.
Oh,
it was a process and a tool, but it involved our 50 or so part-time contributors to the rich list research.
Okay, so shifting gears a little bit, I don't know how often you're running across government data, but in your experience with it, does it tend to be messy? Does it tend to be hard to parse?
Actually, a lot of it is pretty clean. It's just pretty old for the most part. There's not a lot of XML or JSON data organized the way you would see data coming out of commercial APIs. You see a lot of flat text files, and you just need to dive into the documentation and break them apart.
Right. So for that type of material, the older material, not necessarily messy by intentionally messy, what are the types of things that somebody who's coming across that data can start to do to make sure that it's going to go through their process in a cleanly way and it's not going to eat up a lot of time?
Well, it takes a lot of experience, and when you deal with this data a lot, you start to see the patterns and how it's organized. Familiarizing yourself with the unique IDs that the federal government assigns to things like places and companies really helps. And once you know those, and you can sort of pick them out of a flat text file that you're looking at for the first time, it becomes a lot easier to go in with a parser and sort of split it up.
So you have to actually study that data pretty closely.
Yeah, well,
right?
you have to dive in and give it a shot, and then you figure it out pretty quickly, and it comes together.
Great. Well, thank you very much for being with us.
Thanks very much. It's been a pleasure.